Hello again, welcome back, it's Nat Walsh. Today we're going to see another one of my Sassy and Crafty design team cards. So this stamp set is called Let's Eat Cake, and I printed out on some plain paper and then I moved around the images and put them where I wanted them to be and sort of set them all up. But this stamp set is actually a proper stamp set, but because I'm here in Australia and they're in America, I'm part of the digital team, so I get digital images. But one thing we do is we make sure that these images stay, we don't move them around or change them around to what you can normally do with a digital image. I keep them pretty much as you're going to get them in the actual stamp form. Okay, so what I've got here is not changed or altered in any way. You can do that with digital images, but one of the things we do because it's not sold as a digital image, one thing we do is just to make sure that the images stay pretty much true to the way that you're going to find them. Okay, so what I've got here is a couple of little teddies, and he's having a birthday, and so he's received one little teddy, one little present, and the other one is jumping with joy. Now there's a couple of sentiments that you can have to put on your little sign he's carrying. So we've got a couple of different ones, but we'll pick this party time one only because I liked it. Party time is the best time, and that was basically it. As per normal, I'm working from darkest. I put a little bit of my lighter color down just to figure out where I'm going if I'm ever unsure about where my shadows are going to go or what I want to do. I put it down with the lightest color first, just so it's super simple to hide. We are using BG09, BG57, 53 and 10 for this little dude. I will cut out, you are not going to see the whole image being coloured in, but you've got pretty much hopefully got the gist of it all. This is just some isopropyl rubbing alcohol. I don't know what percentage it is, but it is just a supermarket branded. You can get it here in Australia, especially. You can get it in Woolworths, you can get it in Coles, you can get it in any chemist, anywhere like that. So I've sprayed that onto just a little piece of material that's like terry toweling sort of thing, and just dabbed it on. And as it dries, it works the same, or not the same, but similar to blending solution in the sense of the blending pen sort of move the ink around a little bit. It's going to do that, and it's going to leave you a nice little texture. What you do need to make sure you remember is color whatever's going to have the texture, and then later on dabble in your isopropyl. Then later on you can go back through and color your, like in this case, the presents, his nose. You don't really want a dotty nose, or maybe you do, but you know, in this situation I did not want a dotty nose, so I've colored one. I've used the isopropyl on the same one, and we're going to let him, he dries pretty quick. It's isopropyl, it's, you know, it's alcohol based sort of thing. It dries pretty darn quick, but just because I needed time to let it dry, we're going to go over and color this other little dude in, and then I'll do the same thing. Okay, so with this little guy, we've got BV08, BV04, 02 and 000, BV 000. And what you're going to find is with my presents and that sort of thing, they're going to be similar colors. Okay, so the little sign, we're going to do a couple of different colors. We're going to have a little black noses because, you know, they need their little black noses. They're too cute. So I'm going to cut this very shortly. Oh gosh. I'm not going to show you this. This video is still relatively long, quite long, so we're going to color the rest of our images the same way. There we go. Once again, a little bit of icy purple just to give him a bit of texture, and you keep, just as I said, you keep dabbing until you're happy. Basically, our little noses are going to be C9, C7, C5 and C3, and honestly they look quite sort of blackish to grey, but they had to have black ones, little blacky grey nose, so you know, rather than pink ones, because he's pretty darn cute. We will be bringing in another colour for our presents. Our presents are both going to be sort of that, what would I call it? It's sort of like a dusty, pinky, purple colour sort of thing. The ribbon on both is going to be the opposite colour. So the one that we've got here is the same colour as the blue-green that we've used on the other little dude. And the other one that he's holding is going to be the same colours as the teddy with the banner, with the sign. Okay, that purpley sort of colour. And then we'll have that dusty, is it dusty lavender, dusty pink type of colour for the actual wrapping of the presents. There's not much I can tell you about today. I've got nothing to really talk about at this moment in time. Just recovering from driving a great distance from New South Wales back down to Victoria, where I was away working for a week. But you know, so the brain's just not firing on all cylinders today. So a little bit I would say jet lagged, but it's not jet lagged, it's driving lag. I'm going to make that a new thing, driving lag, you know. But anywho. Yeah, so we had a lovely time up there. It was nice and peaceful and quiet. I missed the beach so much. In the last couple of videos I have told you about me going away, so we're back having had a lovely time away. But you know what always happens when you go away is that the house suddenly needs a buttload of cleaning. This is going to be a little patches. I'm not really going to do too much about it and hate their mouth. So that is going to be R39, 37, and I do bring another one in of R35. But nothing terribly exciting with that, just a little bit of a patch. That's probably the only extra colour apart from dusty pink that we're going to bring in, really. So we got E47, 44 and 41. This is going to be a little face. I do start off and I don't particularly like it, but we are going to alter that a little bit. So I start off with 47, 44 and 42, and I don't particularly like that, so I'm going to show you how I get rid of it. And for a while there, it is going to look like a terrible mess. This is just not working terribly good at all. So what I did, actually I didn't show you, did I? What I did is I used a W. Sorry, no, I didn't use a W. I used an O just to lighten that color down. And then we're going to play around with it and I will fix it up. So it hasn't removed all the color, but you can see there it just pretty much gives it that lighter color, and it is going to look like a hot mess for a little while, but eventually you'll see it comes out and works out quite nicely. If I look at it now, it's just, you hardly know. So don't give up. If you've done a mistake, you've already done a mistake, Try and fix it, see what happens. Heaven knows, if you can fix it, then it's great. If you've destroyed it, then you already destroyed it before, so give it a crack. Our other little man was sort of going to use some of our T's, I think, T4, T2 and TO. He worked a bit better with just having our greys. And this is the same colour that we're going to use for our side here. And I decided to just do that messy, squiggly sort of look with our side. It's a bit of a scrumpled up piece of paper, basically. And I'm going to use the same T's on the ground. Oh, the only other colour that we're going to bring in is with our yellow. With our yellow, we're going to bring in some other colours, which I actually haven't written down, so I don't know. We shall see what those end up being. Right now we're going to be V95, 93 and 91 for our little prizzies. And he's terribly well coordinated between all the colours. This little dude thought about when he wrapped up all these presents, tell ya. Just adding a few, just a little bit of definition here and there. As I said, I like a little bit of a contrast. I've got a little T ruler in and I'm just roughly drawing a very light line for our ground. And for the ground I'm going to use C2 and CO actually. Oh, look at that. I wrote that down wrong. So we're going to go up to T, not to our C's. Oh, the background. So behind me, we're going to use a bit of a C2 and CO. So with the ground, we're going to use T's. I've put a little bit of shading down underneath. The one that's standing on the ground has got it directly underneath his feet, but to give the illusion that the other little dude is jumping for joy, I've put the shadow just a little bit under, so it gives him the impression that he's up off the ground. Going to go through with some T0, sort of blend that all through, and I'm going to keep playing with that until I'm happy. Adding a little bit more darker, a little bit more shading, a little bit more texture onto the ground. This is not a colour, not one I've sort of done with the lines too much, but I really like how it turned out. What I'm going to do for my balloons, I'm going to use Y04, Y2 and Y00. I did find it on my little notes of what I did where. We've got our little, I don't know what this is because it's really long. It sort of almost looks like a wand. I'm not too sure what he is, but we're going to go with that. And I think with him, I'm just going to put a little bit, I'm not going to fluff around with it too much. We're going to put a V95, 93 and 91 on him. But what you'll probably find is I'm not even going to bother too much with shading and that sort of thing. So we're just going to go with the flow. This is where I'm going to use my C2 and my 0 just to soften it out. And we're just flicking it out. That's going to be pretty much sort of the basics of our card. I'm going to use Paper Rose stitched rectangles. This is the Australian size rectangle, so it will fit our card base what we do here in Australia is we just have an A4. Our cardstock is A4 and we don't have this like letter size, the 8.5 by 11 or whatever the measurements is, sorry. And so our card bases are a little bit different. So we've got these rectangles that will fit our card fronts. We've also got other, obviously, rectangles that have that wider rectangle. Can I say, yeah, it's pretty much a wider rectangle and it's a little bit shorter than our card base. So and what I'm going to do here is trim that out, but I'm still actually going to use the background of it. Just going back in my CO just to soften it, just take it out a little bit further. I need to remember to do these voiceovers a little bit sooner than quite a couple of weeks later. I forgot a little bit between his legs. There's a paper rose. Just figuring out my sizing. So we're going to use this slightly smaller one. It's about the third smallest. But as I said, we're still going to use this backing. We're going to glue this flat. And then the center bit, we're going to raise up with a little bit of foam. Okay. And these panels are pretty much already cut to base. I will have to trim up a little bit, which I think I do off camera, but we're going to trim that up. So I'm going to double up that. So if you haven't already, it would be really great if you subscribe to my channel. It just helps me out. If you hit the like button, it lets YouTube knows that this is not a bad video and therefore recommends it to other people. Okay. So I do apologize if you can hear my 17-year-old son. They were pretty quiet. And as soon as I started recording, they're not so much. So this is our count card. We've put a little bit of Winker Stella over him and that is pretty much going to be it. So all the information will be, of course, down below for the blog post that has all my colours. I will also have a link over to Sassy and Crafty page and you can check out all the niceness, yumminess. Take care. See you next time.